All right, cool. And let's see. All right, ladies, let's share my screen. I am going to need some some interaction from you because I'm going to be asking you some questions. So, yay. Okay, we're going to share here, here. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Thank you. I'm probably actually not going to be able to monitor the chat, so feel free to speak up and interrupt me a little bit. I'll also check in with you to see if you have any questions. So everybody should have a pen and paper. I would like for you to think of a goal that you currently have. Just think of it. This can be personal or professional. It can be something like me where I have a goal to become a keynote speaker, or it can be something like one day I want to be a wife. It can be anything that comes to mind. Just have that goal in mind. And before we get started, I have 2 questions for you. First question is, how many of you feel like you crush your goals? Like you don't have any issues crushing your goals? Anybody feel that way?
I need to get better with making goals.
I need to be able to see y'all. At making goals, you said?
Yes.
Okay. Now, how many of you, okay, so that would be my second question. How many of you could use a little help crushing your goals? Which is good. This is
I
good.
I think sometimes goals can. I don't know if this. I don't know if I'm really right about this, but I feel like sometimes a goal can like arise out of a need that you have. So I feel like whenever it's something that I need to make a difference in my life, like I feel like I have to get to a point where I have to like do something, or I feel like I can't stay where I am, then I'm more likely to do something. But I feel like I always have to have like a something that makes me feel like this is no longer like a want to, but I have to.
Okay, so it's kind of, if I may, more of a reactive goal setting than it is a proactive goal setting.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good. Thank you for sharing that. My goal is to provide you with a tool that keeps you in awareness regardless of if you're reactive or proactive, right? If you want to sit down with yourself and take an assessment of your life and say, you know what, there are some areas that I really want to work on, or, you know, I'd really like to become fill in the blank. Let me just sit down and bring myself into total and complete awareness of my current situation so I can actually assess the distance between where I am and where I want to be. You know, which this that's what this tool is for today, is to bring you into that awareness. But the prerequisite for executing on this is you have to be honest with yourself, right? Like we can't get very far if we're not first honest with ourselves. So when you think of a goal, and we're about to go through this tool, I'm going to share the tool with you first, give you my experience, and then we're going to actually practice with one of you guys. We're going to complete this for you as well. You got to be super honest about your situation. Otherwise, it's probably not going to work, you know? Does that make sense? Do you have any other questions before I show you the tool? All right. This is a standard SWOT analysis. If I had a whiteboard, I would draw this for you, but we are in a virtual chat. Hold on one second. I think somebody's trying to join. I can't get back to my screen. Hold on. Okay. Hey there. Thank you for joining. Are we back to my PowerPoint? Everybody see it?
Yes.
Perfect. So that goal you were thinking of, kind of mimic this here on your piece of paper. Just draw up 4 quadrants. SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So that goal you were thinking of, just put that at the top right of your paper. And we're going to focus on 3 in each category. To give you a little information around where the heck this tool came from, if you don't already know, this is a tool that is used in marketing. This is a tool that is used to assess competition in the market and how you relate to that competition, areas where you can improve, all that good stuff. And today we're just going to be making it about you in relation to your goal. I like to put a fun twist to the tools that are available to us in business. Just let me know when you've written it down, because I don't want to get too far ahead. Any questions before we move forward? Okay. To give you a little more context around this tool, when we look at the top 2 quadrants, our strengths and weaknesses, this is internal to us. These are areas that we do have control over, that we can either build up, or if we've built up too much, they can actually move columns, and I'll explain all of that later. At the bottom, our 3rd and 4th quadrant, where you see opportunities and threats, these are external to us. Typically, these are things we don't have control over unless we're proactive about them and going after them. The left side of this analysis, you see strengths and opportunities. People see this as more of the positive side of things. Your strengths can create opportunities for you, left and right. Again, I'll explain that here shortly. And on the right side of the column, people perceive weaknesses and threats as negative. I'm actually here to make it all positive for you because it's all possible. Do we have any questions on this slide, or are we good to go? Okay. A little bit more context before I dive into my personal story and how I used it to get to my goal, because I always believe that through experience, you can teach others how to use it and get to where you're going. Your strengths. So if you're already writing down, let's say you've already put your goal there and you already have a conceptualization of like what your strengths are and you're writing them out. These are areas where you can help others. Your weaknesses. Actually, before I say this, who on this call thinks that it is a weakness to ask for help?
I don't.
You don't. Good.
I don't think it's a weakness, but it is hard for me to do.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay. We'll address that, but weaknesses are areas where you should be asking for help, and I'll explain later. Opportunities, this is your leverage. This is precisely the area that's going to help you close that gap. But this is also the area that will require you to take action. And then your threats, I will share with you an if-then formula, which basically threats are so much scarier when we haven't actually thought them through and we haven't prepared ourselves for potential consequences or things that could go wrong. So I'll walk you through again in my scenario how to do that in this slide. Now, don't mind my arrows. We're going to be using them in a little bit. Here's my SWOT analysis. I went ahead and filled it out halfway so I could just use the rest of this time to honestly work with one of you. My goal, I set this at the beginning of the year, was to become a keynote speaker. Okay. A few of my strengths are execution. I have no problem taking action. And sometimes I can do it to my detriment. I am great at planning, and confidence is another strength of mine. A few of my weaknesses, this is literally what I sat down on pen and paper to do for myself with pen and paper. My weaknesses are credibility. My weaknesses are experience. I don't have experience being a keynote speaker. I need experience here. I do have some work experience, but nothing that allows me to speak on topics that I'm actually passionate about. If you're in corporate like me, you're talking about things that they want you to talk about, like safety, or I work for Duke Energy, so we're always talking about like utility related stuff. So 2 of my weaknesses, credibility, experience. Another one is, okay, as a speaker, how do I know where the right event for me would be? How do I know who my right audience is based on what it is, information wise that I'm sharing? So discernment was a weakness of mine, being able to decide. Now, I want to share something really fun and cool. I'm actually going to borrow one of my arrows over here. This is how I learned. We're going to swap it like this. Whoop.
Just a question,
Yeah.
but I mean, I feel like this sounds like a dumb question, but I mean, that's my strength. I'll ask the dumb questions, but for credibility, you just mean like you because of you don't have the experience and stuff that people don't know you to contact you to, you know,
Exactly.
get out there.
Literally starting from zero. I woke up one day and I was like, I want to be a keynote speaker. Like it
Okay.
was night and day. I mean, I had some events that led up to that, but there was like this huge epiphany and vision of myself doing it. And I just decided, you know what? New goal. So credibility, yeah. I don't have any, like I don't have now I do, but it's at the time when I was assessing my situation and where I was at in relation to my goal, I had none. So I'm like, I want to be a speaker. And people are like, well, who the heck are you?
Yeah.
I haven't heard you talk. Can you talk? Can you actually teach and coach people? You know, so I was put to the test and I did. With this being said, I want to share with you guys just how powerful asking for help is. So in my current job, I work for Duke Energy, like I said. I know what my strengths are. So I know that I could help people in these areas, which I think also feed really well into my goal. My weaknesses, I sat in a one-on-one with my manager and I said, not related to my job, but I want to be a keynote speaker. I want to talk about things that I'm passionate about. And she said, okay, well, let's go ahead and put you, and I'm just going to point directly to it, which is the Business Women's Network. This weakness that I asked for help on created an opportunity for me, which is within my corporate work environment. And last month, I spoke at an in-person and virtual event on this exact topic, just looked a little different because I actually drew it out on a whiteboard and it was very interactive. And I was able to execute on an opportunity that was literally created for me by asking for help. I told my manager, I have no experience. I don't even know where to start. She said, you need to contact so-and-so over here. That's the power of asking for help. Another one, I recently joined a mastermind program. If you guys are familiar, I'm not sure, but I'll go ahead and explain it. It's like a very intensive community that focuses on areas that I'm going after business. So these are people who focus on business as a niche and building a business. And so it's a very intensive, goal-oriented, just business-obsessed community of people who are way better than me at everything. And because I chose to join this group to also build on this goal of mine, I created my own focus group where I'm teaching about speaking, how to be a speaker, how to present. So another opportunity was created for me here in the mastermind program. And then because I know I want to go this direction so stinking bad, I don't know, a couple months ago added the virtual event space to our walking group because I want to build all of you up and I want to see everybody here succeed too. And this was my way of being able to provide that in this space. So these opportunities here are what is going to take my weaknesses. Let me just flip my arrow over to my strengths quadrant. Do you see how that works?
Yes.
Any questions before I say the next thing? Or comments?
So just about your specific situation, where did you say you learned about the mastermind program?
Oh, I researched it.
Okay.
I researched, yeah. And so I'm technically in 2 mastermind programs right now. It was either going to be a master's degree or it was going to be a mastermind program. And the difference is a master's degree is an influx of information that you're going to consume and may or may not be able to apply immediately or for a while. Mastermind is like, I'm going to teach you and you're going to apply it. So it's very active learning. And it just, yeah. So you can
Sorry,
see
that was
here.
just something that sounded interesting to me.
Well, we can definitely link you if you're interested. I mean, there are mastermind groups all over the place, depending on what it is that you're looking for, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm just going to adjust myself in my chair. So in asking for help, I created opportunities, executed on those opportunities, and I am currently in the process of moving my weaknesses over to my strengths column, which my goal may change, which could, obviously open up more space for additional weaknesses. And again, we're only working with 3. There could be more here, but I just wanted to keep it short, sweet, and to the point. Another thing I want you guys to realize is our strengths, just like our weaknesses, can develop and strengthen and come over here to our strengths quadrant. Our strengths, if we misuse them or overuse them, can also become a weakness. Can you maybe tell me how you see confidence, for example, switching over here if I misuse it? I hope my arrows are working all right.
You may be less open to input or critical feedback.
Yeah. If I'm too confident or overconfident, right?
Yeah. And you might be less approachable as well. Like you might seem, like I don't know.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah. Confidence is so whenever I was at my previous event teaching about this, one of the ladies in the audience was like, yeah, what if you become arrogant? And in all honesty, arrogance isn't cute. You know what I mean? I mean, maybe for a minute and then it's like, all right, that's good. But yeah, if I'm overconfident or if I'm not somewhat still humble, and I let it get to my head, essentially, it can become a weakness and I won't be able to impact an audience at all. My main one, though, that I have to watch out for, you guys, is execution. I kid you not, I take action so much that I could literally like blow people over. It's crazy. So I have to keep that in check because I need people along the way to be a part of my journey. And if I'm blowing past anybody or not considerate of others, I'm not winning at all. You know what I'm saying?
so how do you keep those things in check, or do you just have people that you like talk to or mentors or something that kind of help you keep that in check, or do you do like evaluations of yourself every so often, or what do you do?
Thank you for asking that question, actually. A combination of all of the above. I do have a life coach. What she's helped me do mostly was stay true to myself, which when you're true to yourself, you kind of accept the good, bad, and the ugly. I journal a lot, and the people I have around me are a legitimate support system. So they a lot of times will reflect back to me, sometimes without words, exactly what I need to see, if that makes sense. Like, I can tell based on how they're responding to me if I'm too much of anything because I'm self-aware. Like, this is an
Mm-hmm.
example, like this tool itself is a perfect example of how I keep myself in check. By putting execution here and knowing that this strength at any time could become my own weakness, it keeps me in a greater awareness of where I'm at.
Okay.
Anything that will call it back into your awareness will keep you in check. So whether that be a mentor, yourself, friends and family, as long as they're good people and honest and they're not like mean to you, that's how you keep yourself in check.
Okay. Not necessarily for this meeting, and maybe I've missed it in the past, but do you think you'll have any kind of session or advice on like how to like build a network of those people that are going to be like your support network, or where you look for those people?
I'm going to go back to a file really quickly. Don't judge me really fast. Hold on. Let's see. I have something. Can you see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
It's funny that I literally took this out of our presentation tonight because I thought it would be distracting, but we can come back to this at the end, okay? I just want to show you
Okay.
that to map out who you have around you. You know the power of your circle, right?
Mm-hmm.
You realize just how impactful your circle is. Like if you've got people that are around you that aren't striving for anything, that aren't building you up, whatever that looks like, or aren't properly guiding you, you might want to switch it up or find some professionals to place in your corner or in your most immediate circle. That way you're getting the best possible influence. Because I look at my support system as people who breathe life into me. If they're not breathing life into me, meaning if they're not here to foster my growth with me, it's probably not a good support system, right?
Mm-hmm.
We can talk more about this if we have time at the end.
Okay.
I'm totally open to that, but fantastic question. Let me go back here. I'm going to go ahead and move on to threats. So I want you to answer this for me. If my goal is to become a keynote speaker and I'm, for example, about to do an event, right? I'm scheduled for an event like tonight or maybe one that's in person. What do you see as a potential threat to me? What could happen that could prevent me from reaching my goal?
You could get sick or lose your voice, something like
Yep.
that.
That's exactly right. Actually, that's probably two. What's another one? What if the event gets canceled? What if for whatever reason, or rescheduled or something happens and we can't even do the event at all? These are potential threats. So what I like to do with threats, because I'm not scared of these guys, like a lot of people are, threat in itself is just a scary word. I am going to get a text box really quickly. I like to use, am I good? No, I'll grab it. Wow. Okay. It's up here first. I don't know what's going on. Grr, there it is. I'm going to use what I call an if-then statement. This is also like a consequence statement is what I like to call it. So can you put together 2 and 2 what I'm about to do here? If I get sick, then what? Then I can reschedule because it's my event, right? Or I could, leading up to the event, make sure I'm taking my vitamins, make sure I'm working out, make sure I'm not hanging out with people who just recently got diagnosed with COVID or something. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to be proactive to where I eliminate all chances of something happening leading up to the event so I can actually show up. And that applies the same way if I lose my voice. I can drink hot tea and honey the night before. Or if I'm like standing on a stage and I just all of a sudden go mute, I'm going to do something with my hands and like give everybody a show. I'm only teasing, but I guess on a more serious note, what I'm trying to get you guys to see here is that if you actually just think through using an if-then statement, a lot of times you can reduce the amount of fear around something that could or what if kind of situation could happen. It's actually really useful. A lot of times people are in fear because they haven't thought through to the other side of a thing, right? They just have a fear. Well, why do you have this fear? Why do I have a fear that I'm going to get sick? What happens if I get sick? Okay, put yourself in the scenario. Now I'm sick. What do I do? What happens if? And then I just come up with my plan B right here. That way I'm ready.
Do you think it's easier to do that if your goal is, or should maybe your goal should be, maybe I missed that, but like very, very specific. And like if you just have an event or whatever, it's easy to say, it's easy to like identify like that those are the threats and what you can do in that case. But like if your goal is like not as specific and more like, I don't know.
Well, I think when it comes to goal setting, the more specific you can be, the better you are, the better off you are, because it shows clarity and it shows like a decision kind of. So the more specific you can get on any goal, the easier it is to execute on that goal, right? If I'm
Okay,
just
yeah.
if I'm just casting a net, I'm like, Maybe something will catch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like
I want to have a fishing pole with a very specific, like,
yeah.
you right?
Okay. So if your goal was to like, I'm just making this up. Like if your goal was to like be a millionaire, then you should have like other specific goals along the way that would help you get there.
Right. So, and girl, you are literally, let me just show you something else. You're speaking to my other presentation. I love this. So, do you see do you see this slide right here? When it comes to goal setting, look at this. So, we call those macro and micro goals, right? So here, well, this is in relation to a role, but like if you're going from, let's say, a middle class whatever to being a millionaire, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would hope that you would have a purpose tied into the millionaire, not just money being your North Star, but because, the amount of value you're giving is what you're going to get in return, right? So this is where you can set these macro goals, which would be sitting on top here. So keynote speaker, goal 1, rental house, I don't know, whatever it is that you see as your milestones. And then you have little objectives that help you reach that goal. So basically what we're doing right now is it can be used macro or micro, actually. I don't think we have any rules. You can go big or you can go really specific and small. But I would say the bigger you go, you're probably going to need more than 3 of each. I think because it's going to force you to be really honest with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like this visual.
Okay. I love that you're calling on my other presentation. I really think this is great. Everything you're saying, it's perfect. Okay. Did I answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. So before I call on one of you, which I'm open to anyone who wants to do it, and if we have time, maybe we can do more than one, but for now, we'll just pick one of you because I want to help somebody get through their own. And if we could all contribute to it, I think that'd be a lot of fun. Are there any questions here before I pick a volunteer? Cool. Back to square one. Who wants to go? Where are y'all? Hold on. I'm so limited with this thing. Where are you guys? I'm going to stop presenting for a minute. All right. Who wants to volunteer a goal? What?
Okay, I'll do it. It's fine. I'll do it.
Thank you. I was about to say. Okay. Mary, is that you?
Yes, it's me.
That's awesome.
I just like to listen.
Okay. I'm going to share my screen again. Here we go. Thank
I'm
you, Laurel.
volunteering because I've been filling mine out while we've been talking. So
I love that. So first and foremost, what is your current goal?
it's okay. I'm probably getting in trouble because it's not very specific, but we're working on it. So my goal is to transition to a non-customer facing role at work.
Okay, so I'm going to take out my underline real quick because otherwise it gets wonky. So you said and I hear you on that, customer facing role, which does leave you some space, for change a little bit, because it's not like I want to be an engineer. You're just get me away from the customer.
Yeah.
Okay. So non-customer facing role. How long have you actually had this goal for?
It's always been in the back of my head. This is the first time I'm really writing it down and saying let's take some action. It's not going to just be handed to you. I work at a company that has a lot of tenure. So if I really want something like this, I either need to leave or I need to carve out my own niche or transition to a different organization, like internally, but like I align up through the support line. So maybe I manage a team in sales or maybe I go to marketing. So I just kind of have to,
Yeah.
I'm in like the discovery phase of like figuring out what's going to be right for me. So this would be like my micro goal so that I can set my macro to say that, okay, now I found the perfect home for me. Here's like the next steps I can take for that. But this is going to force me to explore and like set down like hard, smart goals to say like, okay, you are going to meet with this person you know in marketing, and this is what you're going to like. This is, those are all the goals that will tie into this SWOT to
For
hold
sure.
me accountable for it.
I would encourage, and maybe we can get a little more specific as we work through this, to like at least give an example of a role. When you say non-customer facing, it does cast out a pretty wide net.
Okay, if I could like I could do like a manager role.
Okay.
It's either going to be marketing or a manager role. So, but I am
Marketing or manager, pick one.
we'll just do a people manager because I'd be really good at it.
That's what I'm talking about. And that does still, I think it's specific enough, but also has flexibility. So I like that better. Okay, so tell me your top 3 strengths.
I'm a great advocate
For others.
for others. I'm innovative and I'm communicative.
Oh, wow, that's critical. Okay. Let me put an S here. So you're a great advocate for others, you're innovative, and you're communicative. All right. So I'm going to just put this back up here for a second because this is where you can help others. Now, weaknesses.
Experience.
Okay.
Probably I wrote indecisive down just because, but
Yeah.
but we just made a decision, so
Does that mean it's a
I should
strength?
still be there. No, it's okay. No, it's not.
Okay.
And probably confidence. I'm not like
Okay. If I may add a weakness,
go for it.
you're currently in a customer facing role,
True.
right?
Yes.
Which is not helping you achieve your goal.
Correct.
Okay. So
That's fair.
great. Okay. So let's see here. This is where we're going to ask for help. Okay. Have you asked for help at all or started to move in the direction of your goal?
I haven't asked for help, but I've communicated my like desire with my manager. So my manager's aware of where I'd like to go.
Okay.
But I haven't like asked her for help to say like what projects can I work on? What experience can I get?
Okay.
Things
Are
like
you
that.
aware of anything within your company that could be a potential opportunity for you? Or has your manager mentioned something that exists with it where you are right now that could align with your goal?
So I would need to go for this to be a reality, I'd have to go cross-functional. So I would need to start meeting with other teams.
Okay.
But she can make those introductions for me. And she
Okay. What's your current company name?
go to just one word.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you have opportunities right where you are to go ahead and start moving towards this goal.
Correct.
Okay. You're not one of those people who are like, I hate the company I work for. The work culture sucks. You're not one of those people. You're good with the people that you work with. It's just like you want something different.
Yeah, just a different seat on the bus.
Gotcha. Can you think of something else outside? You said that if it's not within the company, it's potentially outside. Do you have your eye on anything outside of the company, whether that be another business or an entrepreneurial endeavor?
No, I wouldn't say that I have my eye on anything, but I'm not like that's where like confidence kicks in,
Okay.
where like I'm not as confident. I would feel what is like that statistic like 60% of or like men will apply for a job if they have like 60% of the qualifications and like or like 30% and like women will only do it if they have like all of them. Yeah, so like I would have a harder time applying for a role without the experience for it externally. Internally, like my product will speak for itself and the connections I made internally will speak volumes. So that's why I feel like it's hard to go external.
Okay. External of the company.
Yeah.
Okay. So you'd rather make a somewhat lateral move where you are, is what you're saying. Well, lateral and up, but like,
Yes.
okay. I want to
Can I
see. Go ahead.
can I say something?
Yeah.
I just want to say that I got a degree in accounting, and then because of my situation, I just took a role like that wasn't accounting, wasn't my goal or anything. It was just in purchasing at a company. I didn't know anything about it, just went and did it like entry level, did that. But I always desired to be like in an accounting or finance type role. And so I just have found that sometimes you don't realize the experience that you have that really, can transfer or relate to, or be relevant to other opportunities. Sometimes you don't realize like you maybe haven't had the role that you want, but you do maybe have experience that you could add that's relevant, that would get your resume looked at, or get you potential interviews and stuff like that. And maybe you have the maybe not all the hard skills but soft skills, and maybe someone will give you an opportunity. So
I
I don't
love
know.
what you just said, actually, because to me, what you're referring to is like transferable skill sets that you
Yes.
develop in various roles.
So that's how, I feel like I have made a change into something that, now I'm in an accounting finance sort of role or whatever, but I didn't get that experience. And I don't necessarily have the experience that the job description requires, but my experience, I'm able to just go through job descriptions and think of my experience that most closely relates to that. And that's still important. That still matters. They still like that.
Yeah, because you're open for growth. You're open for growth, and you're actually, in a way, taking all of your tools and all of your skill sets and figuring out how you can make them work in your current situation when you're applying or whatever it is that you're doing. I love that. Thank you for sharing.
I actually have been interviewing for jobs recently, so I just go through the job description, and I don't check off every box or anything like that. But then I think, whenever I started my first job, I didn't know what I was doing. I have the ability to learn. Like, I am someone who can learn. So that matters. They're going to train you to a certain extent, and you can figure it out. Like, if you're,
Yeah.
reasonably intelligent, you can figure it out.
Preach, girl, preach. Yes, absolutely. I know what you were saying about the percentages earlier, Laurel, where you're like men versus women, and men do tend to be overconfident. They see an obstacle and they're like, bring it on, right? And women are like, I would rather be perfect before I get there. And that is something that I think we have the ability to change. Because a lot of times what these companies really need are the right people, right? Skill sets can be developed. You might now, if they have requirements, that's different. But like they want good people that are gonna add value to the role and to the company, right? Go ahead.
Can I don't want to take over your thing, but I just want to say that this year alone, I had a friend who encouraged me to like go after opportunities that were a little bit outside of my comfort zone. And I actually have increased my income by more than $30,000, like a salary increase by taking an opportunity like that. And I also, I'm interviewing for another job because it didn't end up being like I don't know. I don't know how to say it, but I got into a position where um, the job description and the duties kind of don't really match and are not what I want to do. But I'm just saying, like, I'm interviewing for job opportunities that are kind of like, I feel like it's going to be a little bit out of my comfort zone whenever I get there. But I'm like, you'll learn.
Okay,
know?
so I want to add to what you just said, though, because I think it's really important to keep this in mind when you set a goal. When you set a goal, you really want to get as close as possible to matching that goal and being able to say no to the things that don't align with your goal. That's where the discernment comes into play. So you're not just out here killing time, because yes, you can get, you can develop skills and you can, gain experience in certain positions. But if that's not, like, if she wants to be a people manager and she goes and applies to a job, for example, that puts her back in front of the customer, that's not getting her closer to her goal. You know what I mean? So she could get swarmed on LinkedIn or from a recruiter saying, we have every customer facing job available, paying you 6 figures. This girl better say no.
I would leave for 6 figures. I'm just going to make that very clear right now.
Okay, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes.
when you deep in your soul know that your goal is to be a people manager, or like for me to be a keynote speaker, that means I get job offers a lot, but to keep doing what I'm already doing for Duke Energy. Why would I choose that? I don't want anything, like, why would I choose what I'm already doing? I'm already in a great environment. I'm already doing that work. I don't want to be like a business analyst over here too. Like, that's silly. I want to only attract to me things that are going to help drive me faster and more efficiently towards my goal.
Yeah.
And it's the ability to say no. And that's where confidence comes into play, right? Confidence will be gained after you've taken appropriate action and gained trust in yourself.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, I didn't mean for her to just like go out for any opportunity that she's not interested in. But I just mean, like, don't be afraid to take a step just because you don't cross every T or dot every I.
I like that. So while we've been talking, Laurel, have you thought of any other opportunities, or do we need to jump in and help you?
Well, like, I think like I have an opportunity personally to just develop myself by like doing like, whether it's like a training program or like looking into certificates or things like that. Like, just to be really transparent, I did not get a degree. So I've already like beat the odds by breaking into tech like I have. And that's part of the reason why I think I'm partially still customer facing, but like I'm in a like, I don't know what you would call it. Like, I'm not in an entry level role. Like, I'm in
you
a
got
few
in the
steps up
door
from that.
Yeah.
But we're just ready to. I mean, I would still technically have customers. They would just be my employees and not actual customers.
And asking for help can be in these areas like what we're doing here. Like, asking for help it can be from a mentor, right? Opportunities are created when you ask for help, because you're going to access a network of people and their information and who they know that can direct you. So by entering into a training program, maybe you get into a training program like the one that I want to do here soon, where I actually specifically target decision making in our life choices. You know what I'm saying? So you get into this training program, you learn how to make decisions, and you make them quicker and more efficiently, and you get to your goal faster because you're not sitting there in this swamp of, I don't know. I have too many options. I don't know. And instead, we just take action. Let's think of one more opportunity for you, because when we are done with this, I want you to be able to take action, execute on something. And I might be able to help you with number 2. I don't know if if that's something you'd be interested in me helping you with, I will be offering free coaching here soon. So if you are open to receiving this, I'm open to sharing. Otherwise,
Yeah, always.
okay, let's think of one more opportunity for you. And opportunities can come from your strengths too. So maybe you already you advocate for others. Maybe you have somebody who can vouch for you. Like you said, like your manager has the connection or whatever. So, but we already mentioned that here. We need to think of another opportunity for you to gain experience and
So,
Mhm.
I mean, this is like crazy specific just because it's like where my current role is. So we have like 2 teams, but we do the same work, but we operate very independently. So like I could put together an event that would bring the teams together to like kind of just build like host like a team building event. That's what I wanted to
Oops.
say.
Perfect. And this will get you exposure
Yeah.
and it'll build a reputation for you and it will help start driving that experience because you're going to be showing up in the version that you actually want to be. Right? Host a team building event. Like, how cool is that? Team building is
Yeah.
awesome. Okay. So we're gonna just move along. What time is it? We are like 9 minutes. Okay, so what are some things that could potentially get in the way of you becoming a people manager?
Myself, but that's internal.
So would you
No.
say self-limiting beliefs?
Sure.
Okay.
Threats is a little bit harder for me. Like I just put like no internal opportunities, or like the project gets canceled, like if I'm working on a project.
Well, we've already identified that there are opportunities here. But you're saying if they don't happen.
Yeah.
Okay, let's think of one other one just in case. And we'll come back to that one if we need to, because we want to think in the positive. We want to see that the opportunity transpires some way, somehow, or it still connects you to the next thing, one way or another. So what's another threat? So you want to be a people manager.
Would a threat be considered if she had an event and didn't make any connections from, or like made connections, but it didn't result in a direct, I don't know, introduction to another people manager or something like that?
Yeah. So we're gonna, yeah, because we're pretending as if we're putting these into action, right? So the event, you got no contacts.
Yeah, or maybe no, like, I don't know, managerial context or whatever. I don't know the right terminology, but the contact she was hoping to get, she didn't really get.
Sorry if y'all hear that. I think that's actually a really good one. Because we can see that as a threat. What happens if I do this? So let's say, yeah, you host a team building event and then it's like, one and done. nothing comes out of it. That's also a perception, I just want to say, because something always comes out of it.
Yeah, I could see it still like, leading to other connections and bridges, but I could also see it being, getting downhearted about it because it didn't go exactly as you had maybe hoped or something like that.
Absolutely.
It can also turn into one of those things like, oh my God, Laurel, you did such a great job at this and your job. Why don't you just continue? Or like, why don't you do another one? You're
Keep staying at what you're great at. Awesome.
yeah.
Right.
That was great. I think I need to see a few more from you.
You're so funny. Okay, so out of these 3 threats, which one can we do an if-then statement on? Which one do you think is most impactful for you?
Oh, like let's not get emotional. If you don't believe in yourself, then surround yourself with people who believe in you.
Oh my God. Listen to
Yes.
her. Listen to her. Why is it up here? What? My whole line moved.
This is a threat.
This is a threat. Technology is a threat. No, I'm just kidding. It's not. I love technology so much. Okay. And I'm going to move this over here. Go ahead one more time. If you don't
Believe in yourself,
woof
then
then
surround yourself with people who believe in you.
where is it going? With people. This is really cute. Why do you think it's important to do that?
I think that people you surround yourself can really, like you said, be your mirror.
Oh.
So if you don't necessarily like see something in yourself, they see it for you. It just kind of like reaffirms that you're not imagining it. Like it really, that really is a characteristic or a trait or a strength of yours.
Right. Because eventually maybe you do believe in yourself.
Yes.
Do you access that network of people that will do that for you whenever you're not believing in yourself?
I can and I will. And I'm also still in the process of building that network here. So I've been here like a year. And so I'm still trying to build that like in-person community around me rather than just relying on, because all my coworkers are virtual as well. Like we're all remote employees.
Okay.
I'm wondering if you have also, I don't mean to like bust your chops on this one, but what's a part two to this? Like, could you give me one more statement around if you don't believe in yourself, then what's something else that you can do if you don't believe in yourself?
I mean, you can like journal and like write down your successes, like put your successes on paper.
Okay. Did somebody just join? Sorry. We're almost done. Okay. Put your successes on. Yes. So write down. Whoa. Honestly, you can just write down your strengths or you can write down, yeah, your achievements
Yeah.
over time and revisit that place of confidence that you once had. Because that's the tricky thing about confidence is people think that confidence is a prerequisite for the thing that they want to do. But the truth is, confidence, in my opinion, this is Robyn's opinion, and this is how I've been able to access a true sense of confidence within myself. I don't technically know if I'm going to do a great job. Like, I don't know sometimes, but I still put myself in a situation to try anyways and do my best. And when I'm done and I'm on the other side of that thing that I so desperately wanted to do or just needed to do for myself to prove it to myself that I could, on the other side of that is where I tap into a greater sense of confidence, right? But it starts for me with believing in myself. And all that means is to believe in yourself is to know that no matter what, you're going to do what's best for you. You're going to take action in the direction that you want to go in, and nothing's going to hold you back. And it might be a sloppy attempt to get there, but you're going to get there regardless. And it's this inner knowing that no matter what, you're getting there. And then once you start taking action, those small wins that you create, for example, when we're done here and you have tomorrow morning, which is still Friday because we're in the work week, and you send that email to your manager or you get on the phone with that manager and you figure out how you can execute on like 1 and 3, or you and I talk afterwards about training program, whether that means creating your own or me helping you some way. Once you initiate that communication and take action, that's going to create a small win for you, which will build up and compound over time because you're taking action towards your goal. And it's always going to take you somewhere. And if the door slams in your face, please don't go that way. That's not the right way. Like a door might shut in your face. Just say, okay, thank you. And then keep trying a different direction, right? It's only redirection. It's not no. It's just not there. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Did I just go off on a tangent? Too long?
No, you
Okay.
didn't.
I do think so. I love this. I do think it starts with surrounding yourself with the right people for sure. Your network. I mean, I used to be around people who were broke, who wanted nothing out of life, who weren't going anywhere. I'm not gonna lie, this is really how it was. Some members of my family were this way as well, where every time I talk to them, I'm over here like ambitious and passionate and all this stuff, and they're like, I don't want to do anything. And they don't want for more. So that can be contagious if you're not careful, right? Like you don't want that kind of energy rubbing off on you. In all honesty, you don't. You want to dominate the room when you have the positive, like forward momentum kind of energy, because that's how you positively influence people and you encourage them to take action in their life, which benefits everyone at the end of the day. And then writing down your achievements. Yeah, journaling. Thank you so much, Laurel, for doing this. That was awesome and super brave of you. And I love it. This was fun. And thank you for contributing, everybody. And that was great. That's going to wrap up this SWOT analysis part here. I want to open up one last time for any questions or comments, and then I'm going to send you away with 7 SWOT principles to write down. So any questions or comments, or have we pretty much covered everything up to this point?
I just wanted to say that I hope that I didn't like do anything wrong or anything. I like to be an encourager and a supporter of people, and I like to see people like, really achieving goals and living their best life. And so I was just trying to add to whatever you were doing, and definitely not like overtake anything or nothing like that.
Wendy,
So I hope you won't feel like that.
I think your words were beautiful. Laurel, do you agree? Like, I think
I agree. I was even looking on my company website to see what we had in finance available.
that's awesome.
Because we do have unlimited PTO or fully remote.
Look at her, she's hiring.
Okay.
She's like, well, while I'm looking for me, I'll look for you too.
I was I don't
just
know. I don't
put
know
it in
what
the chat.
technically.
So you're good.
Oh,
I didn't.
Wendy, that's for you.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Here are 7 SWOT principles. If you still have your pen and paper, I would encourage you to write these down and really ingrain them into your brain. Number 1, address your weaknesses and they will become your strengths. Address your weaknesses and they will become your strengths. I showed you how by asking for help, you can create opportunities for yourself that you can then take action on, which will help you build your strengths. Number 2, your strengths are areas you can offer help to others. Thank you so much, Andrea. Have a great night. Your strengths are areas you can offer help to others was number 2. Number 3, like I mentioned earlier, your weaknesses are areas you can ask for help or outsource work. When you just get to a place where you're just like, you know what, this is just not my thing, that's a good opportunity to pay somebody else to do it or ask for help, like for somebody else to take on that responsibility. Number 4, opportunities are, I already said that. Opportunities are created when you ask for help. Yep.
Can you repeat number 3, please?
So, Mary.
Mary's right.
I sure am.
There's an echo.
There's an echo on your.
Sorry.
So number 3.
So number 3 is
you got to mute your.
you got to mute your thing.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Okay. Your weaknesses are areas you can ask for help or outsource work. Number 4, opportunities are created when you ask for help. Number 5, your strengths are your leverage. Number 6, reduce your fear around threats by thinking through all possibilities. Number 7 is my favorite. And number 7 is seize your opportunities to achieve your goals. So when you wake up tomorrow, or when we hang up here tonight, if you've had a goal in mind for a while that you finally sat down to assess your current situation on, I want you to look at your opportunity section and I want you to send that email, make that phone call, and take that action. Because that's how you're going to achieve your goal. And I'm bowing now. And I'm going to stop recording.
That was awesome.
Woo-hoo.